Lo. Nagdaw na maligsan.
Hoy ma'am, pagtanaw po taon sa imong gilakwan ma'am. Tanaw sa daan ba o na matabok ba? Tanawa ka jud, hapit ka maligsan jud. Pagbantay taon sa mga sakin ma'am, kay delikado rong panahon na ma'am.
Hala, sorry sir. Wala ko kabantay. Mag-amping na ako sunod.
Uy nak,
Uy,
na
tay.
naman puday ka.
Di naman daig
Ihapon na
ka.
Ito, asa makagikan?
Mao pa ko kauli sab tay. Gikan construction.
Aw, nak, ikaw ba? Pag-amping taon kanunay ha? Samutas imong mga lakaw kay wala ba ta kasabot sa panahon karon? Di na jud nato mahibaw-an. Ganina lang, na ay baji hapit maligsan kay wa nagtan-aw sa kalsada sa pagtabok. Naglibog og gusto na ba niya magpakamatay o unsa ba kay saon ta man di naman magtan-aw sa iyang paglakaw. Mao nakapag-amping jud taon kanunay na kay kining atong kinabuhi sagrado ni siya. Hinuwam ra ni nato sa Ginoo mao nga kinahanglan ato ampingan og maayo aron makalikay kita sa disgrasya o mga butang na makasala sa Ginoo. Ug higit sa tanan, dapat di jud ta magbuhat og mga butang na kay bawta dili sakto sa mata sa Ginoo.
Nasayod man ko anak tay. Kay imo majud kong gipadako nga naay kahadlok niya. Bata pa ko tay. Imo na jud gitudlo nako nga ang Ginoo ang gahatag sa atong kinabuhi. Mao nga kini sagrado kaayo. Mao nga dili jud ko maghimo og bisan unsa na butang nataliwas sa mata sa Ginoo tay.
Nilabay ang pila ka buwan, nikalit lang og kapamati og sobrang nga kaluya og numbness sa iyang kalawasan nga maong rason na naglisod siya og lihok pati paglakaw. Hantod na napagdesisyonan sa iyang anak na ipa-hospital ilaha amahan.
Dok, kumusta rin akong kondisyon, Dok? Pero may nangyari kong kabati og kaluya, Dok. Abinog tungod ra ni sa akong kakapoy, Dok, sa pagtrabaho, pero may munta ako magpahuway, pero kani kay sobra na jud ba? Lain na niya, dugay na kayo. Naunsa day ko, Dok?
Tay, asa man ang mga nagbantay nimo?
Ngano day, Dok? Pwede ako una ni mo ingnan, Dok, about sa akong kondisyon, Dok?
Diretsuhon na ti katay ha. Ikaw nakasinati karon og multiple sclerosis. Kini usa ka kondisyon nga nagdala og kadaot sa imong nervous system. Dili ini siya basta-basta na sakitay. Labi na kay wala pay tambal na makapaayo niini ug sa karon tay, dako kaayo ang tabang sa machine nga gi-connect sa imo para makasurvive ka.
Grabe man di ka gasto ni akong kondisyon, Dok. Dok, pwede ba jud taon mi? Pwede mo hangyo, Dok? Natangdangon na lang ng life support na anaho. Di na ko ganahan magpadayon sa pag-antos, Dok, na makadamay pa ko sa akong mga anak. Luoy taon sila o mag-antos pa sila na ako. Pwede bang dangon na lang niyo kinabuhi, Dok?
Nakasabot ko sa imong kahadlok ug paglantaw sa sitwasyon. Apan, ang imong gihangyo kay isa ka desisyon nga di basta-basta. Kay kini usa ka proseso sa euthanasia. Dako kaayo ang tsansa na mamatay ka kung hawaon ng machine.
Di man taon na namo kaya ng mga gastuhon sa ospital, Dok, o magpadayon pa ko ani. Patiyan na lang ko, Dok. Di taon ko ganahan magpalisod-lisod pa taon sa akong mga anak. Kita jud taon na ako ang ilang kahago niya, di pa ko ganahan. Di ko ganahan, Dok, na madungagan pa ilang kahago tungod na ako, Dok. Ano, Dok, mahangyo jud ko, Dok. Hindi tan taon na lang jud ng life support na ano, Dok.
Girespeto namo ang imong desisyon. Apan importante nga hunahuna-on kini og maayo. Ang imong desisyon dili kini sayo nga butang. Dapat isulti kini nimo sa imong pamilya. Ug kung mosugot sila, hugot na jud imong desisyon, Usa pa mi mutugos sa imo hangyo kay imo man kanang katungod.
Tay, kumusta naman ang imong gibati?
Nak, nasayod ako nag-ingnan na ka sa doktor bahin sa akong kondisyon nak. Dili basta-basta ang akong kondisyon na gibati karon ug naglisod na jud kayo ko. Kasabot sab ko na dili nato kaya ang gasto diri sa ospital. Kung pwede lang, hangyo ako ninyo be. Matantangan na lang ni ang life support na anahon. Di ko kaya magpapikat sa mga gastoon nimo or sa imong mga igsoon. Labi na kay gamay naman lang po down ang tsansa na magbuhi pa ko. Wa ba jud down ambal paraan ni. Unang mas maayo pa tiyan ang ako karon na.
Tungod sa kakalit sa pangitabo, wala dayon nakatingog ang anak sa gusto sa iyang amahan. Nigawas kini sa ospital ug nagutaw ang iyang utok sa kung unsa ang angay buhaton. Hantod nakita na lang niya ang iyang kaugalingon na nangutan na sa tulo ka tawo may tungod sa desisyon sa iyang tatay.
Kung ako'y pangutan-on, mo-agree jud ko sa euthanasia. Kaysa kung pananaw, ang euthanasia ang usa ka opsyon sa pasyente aron mapugngan ang pag-antos o paglisod kay dili maayo ang pagpadadyon o pag-antos kung walay siguraduhan sa kahimtang.
Sa akong bahin, dili jud ko mo agree sa euthanasia oy. Ang kinabuhi, grasya manggud ni gikan sa Ginoo ug sagrado sad kini. Mao na dili jud sakto na tuyuon nato pagpatay ang tawo para lang dili kini mag-suffer ug maayo kay taliwas man kini sa sugo sa Ginoo gud.
Ako usab, dili ko moagri sa euthanasia, kay importante man kaayo nga atong respetuhon ang atong kinabuhi. Aduna pa man sad siguro yung mga paagi nga makatabang sa pag-atubang sa kritikal nga kahimtang nga dili magdala og kamatayon.
Mauni ang storya sa usa ka anak nga nagadibog kung unsa man di ay ang inyang desisyon nga dapat buhaton. Karon, pinaagi sa 7-step model, atong ianalisa ug unsa ang desisyon na maayo nga iyang buhaton.
Okay, good day everyone. What you just have witnessed is a radio drama from our very own nursing student of Visayas State University, in which it was assumed that the story happened in a country that allowed euthanasia, since we all know that the Philippines doesn't allow euthanasia. It is considered illegal. So in the story, it shows a person suffering from an illness with no cure. Due to his situation, he believes that euthanasia is the best course of action. With this, his son is experiencing a moral dilemma in which it will be tackled by the later part of this report. So first things first, before we go to the 7-step model to decide on something, let's talk about euthanasia. So what is euthanasia? So euthanasia refers to the painless killing of a patient suffering from an incurable and painful disease or in an irreversible coma. So there are two types of euthanasia, by the way. It is called the active and passive euthanasia. So active euthanasia occurs when the medical professionals or another person deliberately do something that causes the patient to die. On the other hand, passive euthanasia occurs when the patient dies because the medical professionals either don't do something necessary to keep the patient alive or when they stop doing something that is keeping the patient alive. So in the story, the patient suggests a passive euthanasia. So what could lead some countries or people na why would in the first place that euthanasia occurs? So in some cases, like the Canada, they allowed euthanasia for adults who have a terminal illness that has made their death reasonable foreseeable. While this wording has drawn criticism for excluding those who are not terminally ill, the Supreme Court of Canada has ruled that it could also apply to those with non-terminal but grievous and incurable condition. In some other cases, in France, euthanasia is not permitted. However, terminal patients can request to be heavily sedated until they die, so it is still considered as mercy killing or euthanasia. There's another one is the euthanasia in Colombia for patients with terminal cases of cancer, AIDS, or kidney or liver failure. So there are a lot of cases or there are a lot of reasons. So on euthanasia, however, most of them are just common, just like with incurable disease or terminal disease and many more. So then why do people oppose it in the first place? So some say in a sense of ethical arguments, they said that euthanasia weakens society's respect for the sanctity of life, or it also could said that it would give more power to the doctors. So there are more a lot of complicated things and information about those. So let's more focus on the moral dilemma that we'll be talking about. So we'll now be gathering the facts first. So the first step on the 7-step model is gather the facts. So in the story, we have a father who values life more than anyone. He believes that every life is important, even if it's painful or full of hardships. He even has his own unique tagline, which is called it, Never do something that's against the orders of God, in which he frequently shared to his son. Because of this, the son grew up with strong faith and belief to the point he values life more than how his father values it. Then one day, the father succumbs to a neurological disorder. It is called the multiple sclerosis, which is said to be a disabling disease of the brain and spinal cord. Multiple sclerosis is a disease in which the immune system attacks the protective sheath, the myelin, that covers the nerve fibers and causes communication problems between your brain and the rest of your body. It is known that there is no cure for such disorder, and it reported that MS or multiple sclerosis can lead to a severe disability and life-threatening complications. As the father learned about his condition, he realized that the best way for him to stop his suffering and to become a burden to his family is for him to be dead. And he believes that euthanasia is the solution. Diba? Like how he's contradicting with his own belief na iyan na rin ang gitudlo sa iyang anak, siya na mo kontra anak. So we can't help but if I'm also in the situation of the son, I would also be experiencing a moral dilemma, just like how this story shows. So, continuing for the gathering of facts. However, as the son learned about the hasty decision of his father, he was angered as he questioned himself. Why would why would his father thought of euthanasia when all his life he values life more than anyone? As the father and son talk, the son can't help but waver his lifelong belief. He was confused to the point he asked the opinion of his significant others. The son is having a moral dilemma in which he respects the wishes or autonomy of his father, or would he uphold the teaching of his father, which values the sanctity of life?
Alright everyone, so we're done with the first step, which is to gather the facts. Now, let us move on to the second step. This is to identify the stakeholders of the outcome of the decision. Now, in this story, we identified 4 major sides or people who will be concerned with the outcome of the decision. Now, the first one, of course, is the father himself, because he will be the one who is receiving the process of euthanasia. Now, the second one is the son himself, because he's the one who is having the moral dilemma on whether he will agree with his father's autonomy or his father's willingness to undergo the process of euthanasia. Now, the third one and the fourth one, they are both the doctor and the hospital that she is into. Why? Because the process of euthanasia involves the life of a human being. So both of the doctor and the hospital that she is into will have to make sure that there will be no legal conflicts. They have to make sure that both the patient himself and the guardian, which is the son, will agree or approve the process of euthanasia to avoid legal conflicts.
Okay, so to further discuss the situation, I will now articulate the 2 dilemmas that exist in our topic. So now the son is contemplating with what to choose between the 2 dilemmas. So for the first dilemma, it is if the son would agree to the choice of his father to remove the life support or the machine that serves as his father's life support. So it is a form of euthanasia, and if he will choose this, it means that he will be able to fulfill the last wish of his father to not prolong his father's agony and to end his father's sufferings already. And this is also a way that if he chooses this, then he will not be able to expend any more extra expenses. Okay, so that is the first dilemma. So as for the second dilemma, the son is now contemplating if he will choose to not agree with his father's choice to undergo euthanasia, as it does not adhere with God's teaching with regards to life sanctity. So if he will choose this, then he will be able to demonstrate respect to the divine gift of life, and he will also serve the integrity of moral values based on the principles of Thomas Aquinas, which has the same principles with what his father has taught him before, which is about valuing life and making life sacred.
Now let's proceed to step 4, or the list of alternatives. Let's begin with palliative care. So the primary goal of palliative care is to improve the quality of life for both the patient and their family, regardless of the stage of the disease or the need for other treatments. So according to the father's doctor, multiple sclerosis, or MS, is a type of a serious lifelong condition affecting the nervous system, specifically the brain and the spinal cord, which doesn't have a cure. Hence, palliative care treatments such as medications and techniques to relieve muscle spasms, calm nerves, ease depression, and manage pain can serve as beneficial substitutes. Second is hospice care. So, hospice care may be one of the options, and this personal decision based on individual needs may usually be the best for the end of stage of multiple sclerosis. So, a person in the final stages of MS or other serious illnesses can qualify for hospice care if they have a life expectancy of less than 6 months. So, hospice focuses on relieving symptoms and enhancing comfort, so the patient, in this case the father, may have the best quality of life each day. So, third is the psychological and spiritual support. So, psychological and spiritual counseling may also help the father and the son cope with the emotional and existential challenges of multiple sclerosis. They can get the support from close relatives and friends, as well as experts or professionals such as psychologists, counselors, or even chaplains. So, having this is essential for acquiring a sense of comfort, peace, and a meaning in life. At this juncture, these alternatives align with the father and son's sanctity values and collectively underscore the significance of a holistic approach of the terminal illness, which encompasses the physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual dimensions. Also, by prioritizing dignity, autonomy, and quality of life, these measures offer meaningful, humane options for the patients and their loved ones, ensuring that the end of life journey is as peaceful and respectful as possible.
So here in Compare Alternative with Principles, the 5-step models, respect his father wishes for euthanasia. So this option aligns with the principle of respect for autonomy, as it honors the father's right to make decisions about his own life and death. Aside from that, uphold the teaching of his father, which values the sacredity of life, or what we call sanctity. So this option is consistent with the principle of the sanctity of life, which emphasizes the inherent worth and value of every human life, even if the face of suffering. So by that, in compare of alternative with principles, maybe we can respect the father's wishes for euthanasia.
If the son chooses the autonomy of his father, the son will struggle anxiety or feeling guilt with the decision that they make. But also the healthcare team might face the medical and ethical challenges because it's not easy for them to decision like that in their real life. And Also, there will be law and rights that be violated. If the son will choose the value of sanctity of life, the father might experience prolonged physical and emotional suffering if the life extended treatment in result of diminished quality, persistent pain, discomfort, and lost dignity. Aside from that, the family will impact such as emotional and psychological as go on, and the bills will get higher and they don't have money to buy it for the hospital if the son will choose the sanctity of life.
So, the last step, that is in making a decision, also known as the seventh step. Upon further consideration in every detail of the said situation, our group has decided to uphold and value the sanctity of life. Looking back on the circumstances that were given to us, we considered the side of the son as well as the father. We want to highlight the inherent value and dignity of life no matter the circumstances. The sanctity of life principle emphasizes that life should be preserved. As student nurses, it is in our best interest to save our patients, especially during difficult challenges. Despite valuing the sanctity of life, we also acknowledge that life extending treatments might lead to prolonged physical and emotional suffering for the father. Such treatments could result in a diminished quality of life characterized by persistent pain, discomfort, or a loss of dignity. This consideration reflects the complex balance between preserving life and the potential for suffering. Honestly speaking, there are many variables to consider, weighing as to why we should choose the latter. Our choice was made after a thorough, deliberate, and critical thinking, having the awareness of the potential for prolonged suffering, emotional and psychological impacts on the family, and the financial and resource burdens that may arise. So that would be all for our group, and we thank you for listening to our discussions. So that's all. Thank you.